Dear ladies and gentlemen, I have to be very sorry that we have missed out the first 2 rounds. And yes, you are allowed to say something mad. The reason was, though, that unfortunately no information came in. This resulted in me sitting here and thinking, yeah, it's still not live. And obviously, misinformation. It was at the end of the day. No big deal, though. We're back in it. Ground 0 versus Rewound over here on Overpass. And 2-0 lead for the terrorists is coming in. That's the Mac 10. It's just there for a cleanup. To his right inside, find another. That's Keto taken out. Islamus, Noja. Probably won't do too much with the USPS. The frag would be nice. That's not the case, though. And to quickly talk about what we're seeing here. Rewound picked Overpass. Next up would be Train, decided by the Ground 0 side, and the final one could or would be Inferno. And this is where the statistics are giving us a little bit of a picture that Ground 0 is quite average on this map, losing though against the big names brutally. 116 against Avant, 416 against Greyhound. Those are score lines, pardon, which are just so absolutely brutal. Either way, Keto finally starts making it work. There's the Mac 10 on his left-hand side, which still could do some damage. As we were talking about it, pins him down and eliminates him as well. Ground 0 clearly don't have an idea. Llamas is so nearby. It's the site being empty. Nobody is nearby until now. Perfect timing and perfect positioning makes it work. That's pretty much, I mean, what do you want to do at this point? There's not too many options. So, approaching the site on A won't really help you, as in the meantime, Noja's peeking out. Rewound finally bouncing into this game, but what we have to do, something, and because you Australians, I love you, you're freaking funny, and that's the problem. Moe is Moe, I understand that. Hermione? Okay? I mean, that's clearly Burn. And that's clearly Panic. But who is Harry Potter, and who's Hermione? Legit. We're gonna figure that out in a second. In the meantime, YDNA bouncing a little bit further back, doesn't want to get killed unnecessarily. As he's getting taken down, the AUG can only make it work to some degree. That's the toilets control now belonging to Ground 0. And the A side aggression comes in. They're going fast. There's no time to waste. Bank already mollied off. And the player towards Dumpster. Moe's coming closer and he's taking him down. Nope. Shot through a piece of the truck. It doesn't matter. The bomb is hitting the ground. As the CTs are saving. Now I need to figure this out. Okay, Harry Potter is Void. So this means Zamp is Hermione. I'm gonna forget about that. I'm probably gonna call him Hermione and Harry Potter after a while. Terrorists win. Thank Pete. No, I'm not gonna say that name. I wanted to thank you for saying the names, right? But then I considered that you're called something different. Either way, 4-1 for ground zero. The CTs, not yet with a sloppy bye, but possibly on the way to it. As ARCs are already in place, it's the ARC being replaced with nothing else than the Scout. A bit of an unfortunate ending, but we have seen yesterday how good this can go from time to time. Noja's aggression might be not so expected, and this could be the early entry for the CT side, but it is Void who waits around the corner. Not patience. Paying off overall. The patience paying off overall. As 2 initial frags work, make it a third. This is also good from ground zero. And as YDNA was falling to the dangerous window sound approaching him. If you're wondering, that was Windows telling me I should be cautious about my Windows defender. Same should go for Panic, as he as a defender does not really make it work. But that defense itself should not crumble at all. If one ARC being brought through, it could be even Void slapping it out of the hands of Lammus. Basically, the next round is where Rewound hardly has anything left on an economic basis, and so the steps are coming closer and closer, and if the ARC's gonna prevail with such a flashbang, brilliant teamwork coming in from ground zero, ruled out position by position, and then realized it can only be the playground. And in case you didn't know, playground is where you're not allowed to drive a bicycle. You have to jump into the trash can, and you can't play football. I don't know how you can play football here. And no Hunde. No dogs allowed. It's German for Hundeverbot is dogs forbidden. Instead of just doing 2 words, it's 1. Either way. Get him away from that. Yet again, point out that Rewound has picked this map. We can't say too much about them, as they themselves have... well, they have not played that map too often in MDL. And also, the problem is they don't have hardly played it in the qualifier so far. The only real recorded result we have is an MDL against Genuine, and that was a 16-11 win. It could be possibly Ground Zero called the better team in Australia. On HLTV ranking, that isn't the case, but they're separated by 1 point. Either way. 3 rounds making it now on the sides. Pardon. Round 0 making it on the sides into his right hand. Another one found. Panic with ease takes down 2. In such a round, you hardly have anything to lose anyways, Rewound, so take the risks and try your best to deny further economic growth for Ground 0, as it is though a knock-knock. Oh, he has an easy time taking down 1. The door opens not so voluntarily. And that's one AK being brought through if they're lucky. And this is something we really need to talk about. The matter of fact that we're seeing Overpass being so dominant right now by Ground Zero is unusual, and it's not because of the fact that they are Ground Zero. It's just simply because of the fact that Overpass is or more likely Overpass rounds are 55% of the time won on the CT side, where you are defending. As Rewound picked this, you would expect them to have probably one of the best defaults in the world, where you are seeing so much stability and nothing waffling around, no little wiggle spaces. That is unfortunately not the case. Ground Zero's pace is somewhat more aggressive, but it pays off in the end. So Rewound. There it goes. Oh. That's one after another. This is so devastating. This is so devastating right now. Rewound looked like they could have promising control. Just talking about that noise just burning away. Freaking Hermione, I swear. And now Void's getting a little too aggressive. The 4K already onto Llamas. Such a critical job and makes it the ace. With 3 HP, he stands alone on the sites and takes everyone down. Ground zero. They got big bucks left in their bank account, so no major worries. Either way. You don't want to see that. And that sounded painful. Ankle broken. Either way. Moe and Co. have lost the first to an absurdly good performance from Llamas. If that's going to happen again, that's a different sort of story. It should obviously not be the case. And in the meantime, A site is going to be the main objective for Ground Zero. As Panic lurking around is getting eliminated. The setup leans more towards A long, and they don't play it too patiently. This could be something that happens in the future rounds, especially a map like this, especially a map like Overpass where patience can be key. Keto forced away. This doesn't change the matter of fact. Only one man is standing on the sites. That is Semp. Such shots, he says Avada Kedavra to at least Noisia, but it's 4 more to go, and this needs to be a magic spell by the Book of Severus Snape to work brilliantly. As they stand there, information, I mean, one by one, this could somewhat work. Not seize the player behind the exhaust. But it's not enough to then make it, to get the 7th on the board. Ground Zero, again with a bye, again with the opportunity to get into it. It's somewhat sloppy because both Moe and Panic are not so well equipped when it comes down to money. For a second I want to say the clan tag of Panic. I'm happy that my brain works from time to time. As the run boost comes in, oh, I like the try. I like the idea a lot, actually, but can't imagine that YDNA gets a frag that easily. And to his left-hand side, you see Panic waits it. Panic waits it out a little longer. He most definitely heard scope. That was shot a little too early. Player comes through force, and that is Panic reacting exactly right. This is so brilliant, but then again Llamas, who's already on 10 kills after 10 rounds being on the losing side, fends like a god, but only a god can stand for a certain amount of time. As then Void falls. 4 and 100 HP. And as unlikely as it seemed, a shot in the back is it. So only Moe then could turn it around, if that's going to be happening so easily. He holds the defense line, he hears the steps around him, and he knows that everybody could come around every time soon. Rewound. Bouncing back on the CT side as needed. As in the beginning few rounds, they were fully asleep. And finally, we see Ground Zero in the fight. That's not so great. And the reason why because it's finally them, the Rewound side, showing what they're capable of, what they're made of, and that their map pick is to be their map pick for a specific reason. As Ground Zero finally takes the first timeout, it was about all time to discuss what's happening. Discussing this through couldn't be more relevant. If you pick up an easy 2-0, that would be absolutely amazing for Ground Zero. And this would, again, this is right now the lower bracket semifinal. It is about getting a ticket for that minor. Ground Zero or Rewound are going to meet Order in the next semifinal, or in the next lower bracket final. In the meantime, Genuine, Paradox, and PC419 already got kicked out. And it could be Ground Zero, at least with Overpass, getting kicked out the server. As that aggression doesn't pay off at all. There comes the no-scope, and it seems like YDNA is hungry for a few more frags. He dies, though. An instant reaction from one of his teammates. Semp gonna fall down in the end. We're actually tied up, not unbelievably necessarily, but still a bit surprised. It was a 6-1 lead that was unfortunately given away. Yet again, only those pistols to play something hyper-aggressive. That's what's happening. Pushing through connector, an instant retreat. No usage of any Molotovs. The pistol is gonna come in. And YDNA, it's looking for more and more. It's only those eco-frags. They look beautiful nonetheless. And as the AUG belongs now into the Magician's hands. Absolutely unrealistic to do something now, and that's actually going to be the case. So Rewound 7-6. They made it from being in the slumps to getting to a decent spot. We're far away from seeing a victory yet, of course, from both sides. That's the case. But Ground Zero are losing so much pace at the moment. The margin they had went from slimmer to slimmer, now to non-existent. As we see on long, that's the aggression that could turn it around. Keto puts pressure onto at least Panic. Does not want to go away yet. And there it goes. That's the duel lost. That's now Split coming in. His main focus though is on the A side. It was only one lurk happening to be pardon me, and so YDNA once to get one after another, gets denied in the end. More to come. Oh, and that mistake, that should have never happened. The ball has hit the ground, and Panic is on his own. Would be number 7 for Ground Zero if he turns this one around, but no chance at all. That bomb to be defused. That mistake to be made. An 86. And I mean, the thing is, Ground Zero is even a bit more T-sided team from the 6 matches they have on record. So it doesn't need to tell us a story, it tells us the tendency, to put it that way. Talking about that. Red Pony and Cole going on the broomstick playing some Quidditch now, as they're chasing the ball to at least 7 rounds. Not yet flying around the map. Fairly slow and static they are. So it goes. First strike found by the AWP. It's all going to be A. It's just a big bamboozle. And you got to watch out back there. That's why the NA falling. Noja and Co. extremely cautious plays now need to be done. If he finds the bank player, it does. It works out brilliantly. No idea how he does that. And he dodges that again. How in God's name does Noja do that? How in God's name does Noja even find another part? And that was Lamas. Nevertheless, situation so risky, but with 4 on your health bar, it should not be working. Under no circumstance it should be working. And there you got it. A close half after a 6-1 lead. Maybe you could call that scary. As long pushes coming in from Rewound, they want their own map pick to work out as brilliant as possible. And so the tapping starts. Still patience all over the map. No aggressive setup from Ground Zero, which is nice to watch. As you would, I would have considered them a bit more of an aggressive team, especially when we saw the T-sides where not the most sophisticated plays came in, more likely towards the end of the game where they were executing in the last 30 seconds. In the meantime, there comes one frac. It's all getting a little closer. Those Glocks, they reign supreme on the A side by now. The bomb finding its way on the site, but that's going to be the death of Quito finding its way onto him. Llamas and Noisia are the only two to swap things around, and yes, to some degree they do. The problem that really occurs is Noisia. He waits, and he stays in the smoke. Player got a kit, player taken out, pushes through. He could just exit long. They play around each other. The problem is Moe still has a kit. Moe still has a kit! And he's gonna make that work nevertheless. So unfortunate from Noisia. Rounds. There sent the AK on the board. The rest ecos. Ground zero yet again in the previous round. Absolute unfortunate ending. You know, right now as Ground Zero trying to take out as many CTs as possible, try to demolish their economy with every opportunity possible. Get them bankrupt, so no more dollar bills are flying out of the wallet. In the meantime, using their man advantage to take a long. So Llamas slowly sneaking through Monster. Wants to put a bit of pressure on their opponent, but the perfect flashbang in combination with the MP9, and so the entire setup, as they realize nothing is coming to the A side, switches over. A little bit of a late realization. Important could be later on for Miney, which is actually Zemp. Either way, the Deagle strike. Quito is there to find more. They're hungry, and that hungry squad of Ground Zero. It's now only down to one. They were hungry for frags, but obviously failed. Mouth too small for what they wanted to eat. The CTs are still there to fight. Patience needs to be key. Quito even taking the duel was under no circumstance necessary. Either way, he does it. And Rewound number 9 is on the board, sending Ground Zero into bankruptcy. As Ground Zero forces through, I have my doubts that this is going to work for them. And when, you know, it's not going to work for them, next up is the Eco, 1,900 losing bonus. Follow-up is the buy with around $4,400. And what can you get? You can get an M4, you can get armor, and then maybe a smoke. So, I mean, if we only go body armor and no helmet, yeah, now we can see another flashbang. That is going to be now the pistols though chiming in. You never know when they're about to come closer. The Deagle strike, and there they go. One after another falls. Ground Zero once again displaying what they can do with those pocket Deagles. Lamas has proven his worth previous to that. He has to plan it right now. Players are coming close. The AK is just nearby. Lamas dodges it, stays in water, finds one, and this could be the clutch of the final Australian on the Rewound side. If he gets nothing else than Moe, it would be the double digits secured in such a nervous round. And he does it without playing him dancing around the pillar and getting Moe's head in time. But the thing is, it should have never gotten that close under not any circumstance. Never. You can't tell me that the Deagles upset you that much when you're on a B side take. That either tells you sloppy utility usage or no proper pre-aim, nor concentration, no focus, whatever it is. It was a major mistake. Rewound cost that 4 lives and even the round nearly. But just nearly. And I hope someone was speaking, we're speaking some massive words. So, Eco, as we talked about coming in. I think as a caster, you're losing around 5 years of your life expectancy by casting Citrons. Either way, those USPS is probably not going to do too much about it. So, another terrorist channel called Rewound. Yet again, talking about it because their opponent is having to buy M4 and AUK. And M4 A1S if we want to differentiate that. After another. It's once again a shutdown initiates. We saw in the previous rounds how much they can do with Deagles. Now they prove what they can do with rifles. Spirit is on a triple. This is pretty much all needed. Lamas yet again to strike. Second short player. Not on his radar. I'm still, when we take a look at the picture, this is the perfect time to do that. We take a look at the picture of Panic Room. It's worrying, isn't it? Getting away from that, rather. Back to YDNA. As Rewound have pretty much lost all the control they could have had in this round on Monster. Brute forcing their way into it with the crowbar trying to pry open the door. In the meantime, Ground Zero might be able to come closer. The thing is, and that's extremely relevant to the entire topic of this matchup, Rewound forces everything into this round. If Ground Zero is able to maintain control and hold every single angle and not let them access any sight with getting a bomb plant, which is now the pivotal part, then they'll be on the eco in the follow-up. Then will be 10 to 11. It's a part, now it will be 11 to 10. The eco should be won by Ground Zero, and then we're tied already. As I'm talking exactly about that. Aggression, I'm not so sure if I'm a fan of it. It puts a lot of pressure onto Rewound. This is all great and nice. But death is in the air, to say it like that. Zemp is most likely smelling death already. Talking about that, A side extremely vulnerable at the moment. They're coming pretty much in a line. 40 more seconds to now make it work. That should be the case, as realization about truck was not really there. And Ground Zero seems to collapse in round number 21. Rewound belongs to A. That's what it seems to be. The angle is so enjoyable from YDNA, really. I mean, getting the frag is nice and great, but now back to a man called Panic. In this case, Panic Room. A profile picture that's still extremely disturbing. Getting a frag would be brilliant. That's at least happening. It's minor damage. Now, the nade doesn't do the job really. And there you see, the T's are not doing themselves a favor by that. They're not doing themselves a favor because they themselves have hardly accumulated any big bucks yet. And I mean, this needs to be the round where they get those dollar bills in their wallet, as their opponent hardly has anything. As the boost comes in, they mainly focus on the connector section. Could be nice to see if the players would go over birthday, but their main focus right now shifts over too long, where only one player can hold them up, and that needs to be some magic. Talking about the magic, the Eagle shot number 1 is coming in. That's holding them up for a little longer. And as Lamas waits onto birthday, rotators are being caught red-handed. You know, I still need to be cautious before being picked up. Lamas low HP. Noja is just a few body shots away from dying. This is where you can start to be worried, as I say it. Rotation being caught, and only one void to send them into the void. CZ is there. Oh! That was dangerous, but then on the other side, how did he not get the frag? It was not even the opponent facing his direction. Doesn't matter. Bomb hits in the ground. 13-9 is inevitable, I would say. I mean, I'd be down that Burn shows us a difference, but I doubt it. $13-9, it is the time to stop it. It is the time to finally obliterate your opponent. Round 0 needs to start right now, because otherwise the momentum is too big. The momentum is too strong. The chances I personally don't see there anymore. As the time is ticking, it's more than enough time left. So slowly and steady. Approaching the side. The nade could bounce deep. No, not really. Besides that, if you haven't taken a look at it yet, Rewound does not have to bomb on any of the players' backs. They're clearing out long in the meantime. And I'm not so sure if it's just for gravity attention or alternatively rotating over. If they want to rotate over, it would be about time if you want to have any room to breathe on the clock. There you have it. Noja picking out the bump. He seems to consider long. And that consideration I like a lot, actually. The players are coming for connector as well. 26 seconds are not a lot of time. It's about it right now. You have to perfection this. And talking about it, the op strikes one after another to fall down. Noja could be the next victim in the crosshair of the AWP, but nevertheless, that control does not belong to Rewound under any circumstance. And there it is. When you're losing out on the time aspect, you're losing out on so many options to really double check positions, to not be too much under pressure, to not be too much under stress. And obviously, they were under big time stress there. The match being must be technical reasons. The match paused due to technical. Did anyone? Yeah, net. Okay. Let's see what the ping actually is. Basically all fine. Could be then just simply loss. In the meantime, we can take a look at a bit on the stats. As what's interesting is the flash account on both teams. You can always somewhat identify an IGL or alternatively an AWPer by the enemies flashed, which is always very interesting. Makes a lot of sense to some degree, either way. Nothing too crazy we spots. Nothing too crazy we see. Very interesting though is that on the side of Ground Zero is the difference between the third and the second place, where they are massively separated, whilst here it's actually looking a little bit more linear, to say it like that. So either way, looking to see what's about to happen next. As this is the ready coming in. Ready it is. And let's see. It's about time to figure out who's gonna take this map. And if it is actually gonna be Rewound who have picked it, who have decided to play that. Talking about it, starts off good for the lads of Rewound as though they had to do a trade. Directly pushing on the side, 4 HP from Llamas. And the man is still somehow alive. No idea what he's made of, but that titanium steel seems to protect him quite well. YDNA is the support they would look for, most definitely. The clock's ticking. They got the kit, that's for sure. Void carries that on his back. Retaking this would be somewhat pivotal, though the op is ready for the monster push. First player out, over there on short, it's getting all a little bit risky. And only Noise to turn it around, he can't! 1 HP onto Void. But it's the man with 10-second defuse. Oh, making it work. Last second. So let's see. Ground Zero and Co. are going to prevail. Or more likely, how I put it right away, Panic and his crew are going to prevail. Or if they prevail. In the meantime, it looks quite alright. It looks quite alright. Keto surely not going to have a chance. As Void is flanking around, he has the pre-aim. Can't make that work overall. Rewound. Follow-up is their buy again. Number 25. Part of number 26 is where it all matters, where it all comes down. And yet again, they're all fighting for something that's called the Asian Minor. The ticket, the access to that event. As Rewound just pushes so cocky for the smoke, but then still makes it work. And that just means that Ground Zero are going to play that eco mode. Can only do it with 3 players. Keto and Co. are in the driver's seat at the moment. And they are in charge. Even more damage is being dealt. As even more damage is being dealt. This is such a risky play to always peek there in main. Pardon, in Monster. Not trying to avoid any more fights, understandable. They're on the back foot anyway. They need to initiate. In the meantime, Burn, what a mistake that he has the flashbang in his hands. And Panic cannot find more than one. Will be a great nade. in case he throws it. I wouldn't even have doubted that. That bomb's gonna explode. Rewound will then be only 2 rounds away from gaining a victory. 2 rounds away from taking home what belongs to them, to put it that way. They have decided to play Overpass. They have decided to feel quite welcome on the German map. Next up is Train. We're coming closer and closer and closer to a matchup that could go in the way of Rewound. But it's a could. Take a look at the long aggression. Initiated so early. This is a good bit of territory that belongs now to Ground Zero. Could be also abused for aggression. Flashbang coming in. Does the P come wide over long? Does the P come wide? It's just a matter of seconds. It's a matter of time, and as the B-side aggression comes in, it's pretty much forcing them away like magnets. They're getting pulled onto the other side. But nothing is decided yet for Rewound. The immediate reaction to the frag on B that forced 2 players from long to go away, which is understandable, to easily rotate to the other side in case it's going to be exploding over there. Here they played patient yet again. "40 more seconds. And they're trying to fake on the B side as much as possible, but this also means that it's about time to hit A ASAP. Smokes are coming in, flashbangs are the same, all the nades are raining down, and only one man to hold them. That would be Burn. This bomb still needs to hit the site. The patience I still highly dislike. As there it comes. YDNA gets the C4 on the ground, and this means it's a 4 versus 5 retake. With another player spotted, and the pressure high on Ground Zero. It's massive to go through those choke points and enter the site successfully, but they have aborted the mission. Not gonna happen. Ground Zero are going to accept their defeat in round number 27. They're going to accept that there's nothing to grab out of this. And they're even losing every CT. This is so painful. This is so painful. In the beginning part of this matchup, we saw Ground Zero pick up a 6-1 lead. That on the T side. The side, which is actually the least favorite side here. Aggressors mostly not really preferred. Rewounds, they make it look fairly flawless. They make it look fairly easy. Player spotted to be jump spotting there. Connector could become a problem. Talking about it. Panic takes him down. One after another falls. Don't see any realistic chances at this point in time. And the spray down, being fully blinded, works as well. Should be over. Should be done. It should be all over, and it's saying over twice makes it just more dramatic. Either way, pushing for the smoke, being blind. Final man is Void. Dances pretty much into the void of his team, as there's no chance to retake this. No kids. Winged it's done. Just over. Through the wall. Through the plywood. Frag found. And that's going to be it. 16-12 on Overpass. We're going to take a little break. My name is Sesh. We're going to see you guys in a second for map number 2.
Charge up your game with excitement. Highest odds on the market. Coverage of all live and pre-match events. Place your bets with Solid Bookmaker and win with your favorite teams. Take what's rightfully yours with GG.bet.